Hello and welcome back to another getting started video for Dwarf Fortress with me, the Moochie Mouse. Last time we covered a little bit about DF hack, doing prospecting to see what do we actually find in here. We will get back to more DF hack commands as time goes along and we need more things. But for now, we are going to start actually building the fort and talking a little bit more about the various mechanics required to actually build out the fort. Not just digging, but the workshops, setting up industries, setting up production of things, etc. So this is probably going to be a little bit of a longer video than the previous ones, because we have to do a lot of digging. So previously, as I mentioned, we have decided, or we looked at the levels here of dirt, and I said we need to build on the dirt level to have farms. Clay, fire clay in this case, counts as dirt, and that's why we're going to go in here. Word of caution, or warning for you new players is that there's dirt here, and if we weren't on a hill, you might think that we can just go in here and build all our stuff underground. Yeah, you could. But if you see all these sort of brown mushy things over here and over here, these are actually the roots of trees. Now, if you dig in here and we go under a tree, and then our lumberjack comes along and fells the tree, you now have a hole in your roof for invaders and evil things to go through. So that's bad. That can be easily solved by just going one more sea level down. We still have some roots here, so we'll go even one more sea level down. And now there won't be any roots in our roof, and we won't be having any holes in our roofs from felling trees upstairs. And then you might also be thinking, but we chopped down all the trees. Yeah, but they regrow. There's tiny little trees here that can start growing. Here's one, here's a few, and then suddenly they appear more and more trees will start growing all over the place. And we don't want that, so that's why we go down here. So, diggy diggy hole. What we're going to do now is we're going to hit D to designate, and we're going to hit D one more time to designate some mining. And then we're just going to head up here and do this. Now, what I'm doing now is I'm holding down shift while moving. And then I'm going to hit enter, hold shift, go right up, moves up there. And we now have an 11 by 11 selection box, which is how far it goes. And then we make this. So now we have designated basically 2 rooms to be mined out. They won't, however, be mined out because there's no path to them. So, to get a path to them, we'll just do this. Dig, 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 dig. And then we will come down here and open into there. Hit escape, let the game run, and we see the miners come around and they start digging. Now this goes very, very fast because this is dirt. And dirt is mined super quickly, even by pretty fresh miners like this. But they're just going to come in here and dig out this hole and make new farms for us. Now, I'm going to pause it now quickly because there's another thing that we need to build early on, and that is the depot. The depot is where caravans and trade merchants stop to be able to share goods with you, or you buy goods from them from the depot. Now, you could build your depot above ground, which is the simplest thing. I like to build mine below ground, just because it gives you better options for fortifying, and I also think it looks cooler. So we are going to do that now. By simply going over here would be, I'm thinking, would be a good place to have it. So I'm just going to set up here, dig, and I can, down in the corner here, I can see my selection size. I know that this is the size of the depot, but I want to have a little bit of a lip around it, so I'm gonna go 8 by 8. Or should we go 9 by 9? We'll go 9 by 9. And we'll put a door in over here. Now this is going to be room for our depot. So actually what I'm going to do, just for expediency, so I can show you guys, is I'm going to increase the priority of this dig job to have my dwarves come and do this now rather than later, so we can look at the depot first, and then they can go back to working on where we'll put the farms in. So they're digging now. And just to explain that, if you hit D, you will see down in the corner it says set priority. Using the plus and minus keys on your numpad, you can set them. So a higher number or a lower number is done first, and then a higher number. Yeah, priority 1. Maths. You can has it. Now hopefully we have dug out enough stone to be able to build our depot out of stone. So what we're going to do to build the depot is we're just going to hit B for building. And then we look down here and we will find that we have depot down here somewhere. Trade depot. Yeah. I don't remember where to find it always because I remember the hotkey, but I would just like to show you. Down here, and it says trade depot, capital D. So you hold shift, hit D. Trade depot. Place it in the middle of the room here. We get item 3 needed, which means we need 3 components to build this. And we need either wood or stone. So it can be made of either. As I mentioned, we hate wood. So I prefer to build out of stone, and we have 2 granite blocks available. And then we will build out of quartzite. So just as a tutorial then, we need to tell you that to navigate this list, we use the plus and the minus key. It also tells you here, plus, minus, multiply and divide. So this is divide, this is multiply. It jumps further, jumps a page, because this list could be very, very long. And then plus, minus to go, and just hit enter to assign this. There we go. I assigned the last quartzite. Now someone's going to come and build this. For this to be built, we need to have someone with the stone crafting labor. Or no, masonry. Sorry, masonry. Masonry is the labor used to build things out of stone, as actual buildings. We can see that if we hit Q, it says it's waiting for an architect, which is also something. Everything you build, every building, every workshop, every trade depot requires an architect to be built. So we're just gonna unpause, and we're gonna see one guy come around here. He's gonna drop off a stone. It says needs architecture. And that is probably our then unassigned or our farmer or someone who's assigned to hauling stone for us. And his job is to haul this into us. And our unassigned people are also architects. Because that is also a type of skill where you don't really need skill to build it. Now he has hauled the stuff there, he has designed it and figured out this is how it's going to look. And now we need a mason to actually build it because it's made out of stone. If we made it out of wood, this would say needs carpentry. Because that is what they need. I'm going to let him build up. Fantastic. Now we have a trade depot. Now, as I mentioned, this is where merchants come, park their stuff, and you can bring stuff from your stockpile into the workshop. No, sorry, not workshop, trade depot, to trade with other people. You want to get this up fairly quickly. There's probably not going to be a caravan before you get the supply caravan from the mountain gnomes, which comes in the fall. But it's good to get up early so that if you do get traders, they won't like, no, you don't have a trade depot, so we're just going to walk on by. Screw you. But there is a problem with this trade depot right now, and that is its depot access. So from the main menu here, we can see that if I hit capital D, I will get something called depot access. So we're going to do that. And now we have the depot, and then we have a W here, indicating that there's wagon access here. But there's no wagon access to here. There's no way for them to get in to the mountain. Because we would like have a path of these W's to show where they would get in. And we have the depot is in yellow D's, which means it's inaccessible. If it would be in blue D's, it would be accessible. Now, that is strictly not true, because it is accessible, just not for wagons. Now, some merchants don't have wagons. They would still go to your depot, but the wagon part of that caravan would probably move along. And the wagon part is where all the good, I'm about to say where all the good drugs are, but where all the good stuff is. So we need to carve a path for this to bring wagons into the mountain. Now, having this sort of plateau here, I'm thinking we're going to take advantage of that by just digging out this. I'm going to hit C to designate the removal of ramps. We're going to take away all of these ramps. Like so. And then we're also going to designate more digging. Yeah, we're going to carve out this. We're going to just make sort of a straight wall across here. So we're going to let them come around and do this. And then we're going to jump back into it. Oh, snap. A pig fell down. Hopefully it's not dead. We could lose our breeding pair of pigs. That wouldn't be good. Let's have a look at our pig. A pool of pig blood. It's a stray boar. His tail is mangled beyond recognition. His left front leg is mangled beyond recognition. His lower body is bruised and his guts is bruised. So he ruined his leg. But that's probably going to be fine. I'm thinking he's going to make that. He's going to make full recovery, hopefully. Let's hope so. Regardless, the dwarfs have channeled out what I want, and we now have sort of an area that goes in here where we can wall or we can build a little bit of an entrance going in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to dig out DD to dig a 3 wide gap out here, and we're just going to go over here. So this is going to be sort of a hallway that comes in here. And then standing on the edge here, I'm going to go up one. And then I'm going to choose H, which is channel. That means they're going to dig down, and it's begun. I speak good. It is going to become a ramp. So from here, I want to go up, and over here, I'm going to set that same ramp. I'm going to dig out over there. So I'm going to go just north of these. And then we're going to go down one and complete this hallway. So now you can see it's going to go in here. It's going to go down. And then it's going to continue on, and it's going to go down, and it's going to continue on and come in here. So now we go in here and we do this. We'll see the dwarf come here and dig. He goes down, digs out some more. Then he goes down again, starts digging out the hallway. And once this is complete, we can check the depot axis again, and we should now have an accessible depot, because they need a wagon needs a 3 wide tile. You can see our wagon here is 3 by 3. So a wagon is going to need a 3 wide path to move down and into. So if you go down now and we hit capital D, we now have wagon access. You see the D's have turned blue, and we can follow this path for the wagon. So we go up 1, wagon access, up 1, wagon access, and now we see that all of this area is accessible to the wagon. And all of this area is going to come up here at the ramp side. And that leads to the map edge, which is the important bit. Eventually, I would like the wagon to be accessible from this edge and this edge as well. But that means we're going to have to build some bridges, which won't be happening in this episode, but we will build some bridges eventually, so anyone can, both migrants and wagons can come from any side and enter our fortress. So, going back down here to the farms, we have dug out these 2 areas, which will be farm places. So, from this point on in the tutorial, I think we're going to have to do a little bit more cutting, because there's going to have to be a lot of digging, and there's going to have to be a lot of things happening. So, I am going to dig out the areas that I decide I need here. Then I'm going to come back to it, and we're going to show you the farms and talk about the farms and place it all together. And we'll talk about what we're doing and how we're doing it. So jump cut in 3, 2, 1.